Someone is completely overwhelmed by thoughts of you. Yet, for reasons beyond your control, the two of you cannot be together right now. Deep inside, your intuition already tells you that this connection is real. Even when your mind tries to dismiss it or convince you that it is only your imagination, pause for a moment, breathe slowly, and truly listen. What you are about to hear is not a random idea, nor is it something your mind has invented. The person who suddenly appeared in your thoughts did not arrive there without a reason. There is a quiet but powerful bond between the two of you. It is a connection that neither of you can fully explain or simply walk away from. It is not just a passing thought or a temporary feeling that disappears after a short time. It reaches much deeper than that. It remains steady, constant, and impossible to ignore. This person feels strongly drawn toward you, but they keep those emotions carefully under control. They are experiencing feelings they never truly allowed themselves to have before. Even so, something continues to keep you apart. Something makes this relationship feel as though it is not meant to happen right now. Understanding the real reason behind this distance can completely change the way you see every thought, every emotion, and every moment you have shared together. Even though physical distance separates you, someone out there is deeply consumed by thoughts of you. Yet this extraordinary bond seems to exist under limits that neither of you can easily overcome. This situation reveals two important truths that deserve your full attention. Before you continue, take another slow breath and recognize that these words did not reach you by accident. If this quiet message about love speaks to your heart, consider liking this video so others searching for similar answers may also find it. You did not discover these words by chance. The person who entered your thoughts at this very moment is there for a reason. There is someone connected to your life, or perhaps someone who repeatedly comes to your mind without any effort on your part, who shares an unusually deep connection with you. This is not a brief emotion that quickly disappears. It is not shallow, temporary, or easily forgotten. Instead, it is something profound, peaceful, and quietly present in the background of everyday life. They are attracted to you, not in a dramatic or attention-seeking way, but through a calm and carefully controlled feeling they have never truly allowed themselves to experience before. Still, this connection feels restricted, not because love is missing, but because something continues to stand in the way. Those limits reveal two important realities. They explain why this bond feels so powerful, why distance still exists between you, and why neither of you seems able to fully move forward or completely let go. Before we explore those truths more deeply, if these words already seem to awaken something real inside you, if you noticed even the smallest change in your breathing while listening, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This space exists for people who sense emotions and connections that are often difficult to explain with ordinary words. The first thing you need to understand is that when a relationship feels restricted, it does not mean the connection is weak. In many situations, it actually means the exact opposite. The deepest relationships are often the ones that face the greatest obstacles. They rarely begin during simple, easy periods of life. They are not born from boredom, loneliness, or a passing attraction that quickly fades away. Instead, they grow from a deep recognition within both the heart and the mind. This person never planned to develop such strong feelings for you. It happened little by little. At first, you were simply someone they noticed. Later, you became someone they admired. Then you became someone they trusted completely. Before they even realized what had happened, you had become the one person they could not stop thinking about. The reason this connection feels restricted is not because genuine feelings are missing. It is because of circumstances, timing, responsibilities, fears, and personal values that stand between the two of you. This is where the first important truth begins to appear. Every single day, this person struggles with an inner conflict because of you. They are not fighting against you. They are struggling with the emotions growing inside themselves. They wake up already thinking about you, only to immediately remind themselves why they should not continue those thoughts. They replay old conversations in their mind, then criticize themselves for smiling while remembering them. They imagine what it might feel like to be close to you, only to quickly push those images away because wanting you feels dangerous. The danger is not the feeling itself. The danger comes from the life they have already built and the principles they have followed for years. For some people, this means they are already committed to someone else. For others, it involves pressure from family, cultural traditions, social expectations, or personal moral boundaries they have always believed should never be crossed. Sometimes, one of you simply is not free in a way that makes a relationship possible. At other times, this connection challenges everything they once believed they wanted from life. So instead of taking action, they continue to hold themselves back. Instead of speaking openly, they remain silent. Instead of moving closer, they watch from a distance. What many people fail to understand is that silence does not always mean feelings are absent. Very often, silence exists because the emotions are so powerful that they become difficult to manage. When it comes to you, this person is far from emotionally calm. Their feelings run deep, yet they choose to express them through complete silence. They remain quiet because speaking honestly could open a door they fear they would never be able to close again. They avoid taking action because doing so would force them to face consequences they are not prepared to handle. They keep their distance because being close to you might reveal emotions they have hidden even from themselves. Carl Jung once explained that whatever we resist often becomes stronger. That idea perfectly reflects what is happening here. Every time they resist reaching out to you, their emotions grow even more powerful. Every time they pull away, the connection seems to tighten instead of weakening. Each time they deny what they truly feel, those emotions move even deeper into their heart instead of disappearing. Feelings that are buried do not simply vanish. They often become stronger as time passes. That may explain the unusual energy you sometimes sense between the two of you. It explains why you suddenly think about them without any obvious reason. It explains why your emotions sometimes shift unexpectedly, or why you sense their presence even when they are nowhere nearby. You may notice an invisible connection that continues flowing between you, as though unfinished emotions still remain. That happens because hidden feelings do not disappear on their own. They simply wait. Carl Jung also believed that until the hidden parts of the mind are recognized and accepted, they continue influencing our lives, while we mistake that influence for fate. Much of what connects you now remains unspoken, unresolved, and hidden beneath the surface. Because it stays there, it continues creating emotional tension, deep longing, and inner conflict. This person quietly carries you in their private thoughts, while appearing calm and completely composed to everyone else. On the outside, they may seem balanced, peaceful, and in control. Inside, however, they experience a constant struggle between moving toward you and forcing themselves to step away. They desire the connection, then immediately convince themselves to resist it. This is not because you are unimportant to them. It is because you matter so deeply that your presence creates fear. They worry about disrupting lives, going against personal values, or beginning something that cannot easily be stopped. If you have ever experienced this kind of silent connection with someone, then you already understand how exhausting that inner battle can become. It explains why the bond sometimes feels so heavy even without regular communication. It explains why distance never truly removes the emotions. Jung also wrote that when two people truly meet, it is like two chemical substances coming into contact. If a reaction takes place, both are permanently changed. That is exactly what has happened here. Whether either of you fully realizes it or not, both of your lives have already been changed simply by knowing one another. Something inside you has shifted because of this connection. It is not imaginary, nor is it an accident. It is a bond that reaches beyond ordinary logic and simple explanations. That is why time alone cannot erase it. This connection is not kept alive by routine or habit. It continues because of the genuine meaning it carries. As Jung wisely observed, where true love exists, the desire to control no longer remains. In this connection, control is not the main purpose, and power is not what drives it. That is exactly why it can seem so confusing at times. Nothing here is about playing games. There is no effort to manipulate one another. There are simply two people who have been deeply touched by something they never expected, and they do not yet know how to fit that experience into their normal, everyday lives. As this understanding becomes stronger, one truth starts to stand out very clearly. You are not just a temporary distraction. You are not a mistake. You cannot be replaced or copied by anyone else. You have become part of a story that has already begun leading both of you toward a deeper and more honest understanding of who you truly are. As that understanding continues to grow, the real meaning of this unusual bond slowly reveals itself, one step at a time, with patience and quiet certainty, until the next truth is ready to appear. If you are still listening, you are already among the small number of people who are willing to face what many others spend their entire lives trying to avoid. Most people move past messages like this, not because they feel nothing, but because the message touches something inside them too deeply. If these words are already awakening something within you, subscribe now and turn on notifications. What you are about to hear does not simply explain quiet love or uncommon connections. It has the power to completely change the way you understand yourself. As that realization settles into your heart, another truth becomes impossible to ignore. This connection does not behave like ordinary attraction. It does not become weaker because of distance. It does not disappear simply because you try to think your way out of it. It does not fade away just because it creates challenges. Instead, it quietly follows both of you, almost like a shadow that belongs to neither person alone, but is created by the bond you share whenever your lives connect. You may notice that even when you are busy and life demands all of your attention somewhere else, this person suddenly appears in your thoughts without any effort on your part. It is not because you are intentionally thinking about them. It happens because something unfinished continues to rise to the surface. The same thing is happening on their side as well. They may spend days appearing completely unaffected. They may look fully focused on their work, their family, their daily responsibilities, and everything they need to do. But the human mind has a way of returning again and again to what it has never truly completed. They remember the way you made them feel understood without needing many words. They think about how natural it felt to simply be themselves around you. They remember the strange but comforting feeling that they had known you for much longer than they actually had. They continue to revisit moments that somehow carried far more meaning than they ever expected. That is exactly why this experience troubles them. Once someone has truly seen you at such a deep emotional level, that feeling cannot simply be erased. It becomes part of who you are. This is where many people misunderstand these kinds of connections. They assume that distance exists because one person cares less. Yet the truth is often the complete opposite. Distance is not always created by weak emotions. Sometimes it is created by feelings that are simply too powerful to face. This person senses that if they take even one step closer, they may never be able to return to the person they used to be. Deep inside, they know that something permanent waits on the other side of complete honesty, and they are not yet ready to tear apart the life they have worked so carefully to build. Even if that life no longer reflects who they are slowly becoming, they choose control instead of openness. They choose the life they already know instead of fully trusting the strength of their emotions. They accept familiar discomfort instead of stepping into a truth that still feels uncertain. But every choice comes with a price. Each time they bury what they truly feel, those emotions do not disappear. Instead, they change into something else inside them. They become restlessness, distraction, and a growing feeling of emotional distance from the people they are supposed to be fully present with. They may begin questioning relationships that once seemed stable and secure. They may feel that something important is missing, even though they cannot explain exactly what it is. They may start wondering why the answers that once brought them comfort no longer satisfy them. During those moments, they may never speak your name out loud, yet you quietly become the measure by which they compare everything else. You represent a level of emotional honesty that they have not yet allowed themselves to fully experience. That is why this connection always feels unfinished. It is not simply about two people missing one another. It is about two lives standing at the edge of a deep and unavoidable transformation. You feel this as well. Even if you cannot fully explain it, you may notice that after this person entered your life, your expectations quietly began to change. Without realizing it, your understanding of relationships became different. What you are willing to accept now is no longer the same. The things you truly want have become much clearer. Situations you once accepted without question now feel empty and no longer satisfy your heart. You may find yourself less willing to stay with someone who is only partly available emotionally. You may discover that you have far less patience for relationships that lack true depth. Now you know what genuine connection feels like, and that awareness did not appear by accident. It came through recognition. This is where another layer of meaning begins to reveal itself. This connection is not only about wanting another person, it is also about awakening something deep inside yourself. Some relationships are meant to build a future together. Others exist to awaken you to your own inner truth. This connection belongs mainly to the second kind. That does not mean it can never become something more. It simply means its greatest purpose is already taking place within you. You met this person at the exact moment when something inside you was ready to change. They met you at the very time they had quietly begun questioning the life they were living, even if they never admitted those doubts to anyone else. That is why the attraction feels both incredibly powerful and deeply confusing at the same time. You act like mirrors for each other. You reflect the parts they have hidden for years, while they awaken the parts of you that have been waiting to come into the light. This kind of connection does not follow ordinary timing. It does not rush. It does not announce itself with obvious signs. Instead, it quietly works within both of you, slowly changing your priorities, your deepest values, and your understanding of what truly matters most. Right now, leave the number 111 in the comments. In ideas connected with synchronicity and the meaningful patterns Carl Jung explored, 111 is often seen as a symbol of hidden truths becoming visible, and two paths finally moving toward one another. If this message reached you at exactly the moment you needed it, let that number be your quiet way of saying yes. The channel notices every comment shared here. Leave 111 if you feel this message found you for a reason. That is why even the silence between you feels filled with energy. Something is still moving beneath the surface, even when nothing seems to be happening. You may wonder why letting go feels impossible. You may ask yourself why thinking logically never seems to end these feelings. You may question why telling yourself that nothing can happen never truly sets you free. It is because this connection is not kept alive by imagination alone. It continues because a deeper truth has not yet been fully lived. A truth that has been deeply felt cannot simply be forgotten or thrown away. You are not only holding on to a person, you are holding on to an experience of emotional clarity that changed your life forever. And they are moving through that very same experience in their own quiet way. This does not mean you should wait forever. It does not mean you should place your life on hold. It does not mean you should sacrifice your present for an uncertain future. Instead, it means you should fully understand what this connection is trying to teach you. It is showing you how deeply your heart is capable of loving. It is revealing the kind of connection that gives you strength instead of draining it. It reminds you that genuine emotion goes far beyond what is simply comfortable or easy. And whether they admit it or not, it is teaching them those very same lessons as well.